2. ISI have just released an IndyCar and Indianapolis Speedway for Rfactor2. So I've jumped in, I've done a couple of laps, but I'm jumping in now to give a first impressions of the car. For those of you that have Rfactor2, actually seems like a fairly nice car to drive. It's really forgiving. The rear end seems really stable on it. It sounds quite nice. And of course we've got a new track to drive, which is fantastic. Though it is an oval track with an infield, which isn't the most exciting of racetracks. But it seems that ISI have done a really nice job of modelling it. Never been to the real track, so I wouldn't know. But from the photographs we've seen, looks fairly decent. Now in terms of handling, the car's really nice and progressive. In some ways it actually feels as if it's got some assists on it. It's really smooth in the way it loses grip around corners. It's a little bit understeery, but not in an annoying way. And the back end doesn't seem to want to come out at all unless you're at low speed and you completely jam the throttle on whilst turning the steering wheel. So it's a really nice, stable car that ISI got here, and it's a lot of the faster cars that ISI tend to make, like the Formula Masters or whatever they call it, and the F2 car are a little bit all over the place, whereas this is far closer to what you'd expect of a car in, like if you're used to playing GameStop car or Assetto Corsa, this is a lot closer to that kind of stability. Now I don't know if that's how the car is like in real life. I'm relying on the AI here to guide me around this track. But yeah, it seems like a really nice car. I mean, I haven't been playing Rfactor2 that much recently. I've sort of been lost in the land of AC and I racing a bit. But I definitely think for those of you that do a lot of single player racing against AI, Rfactor2 is still a really good choice. And I think this car seems like a really nice fun car. I'm going to do some be a bit reckless. It's not, it's really forgiving. It's letting me really throw it around at high speed. Obviously the aero presumably sticking it to the ground and keeping it safe. I would not expect to be able to do this. Whoa, I would not expect to be able to do that with the other cars in Rfactor2, but this one's really stable. In some ways, it does, like I say, it does feel as if it's got assists on it, like actually ingrained in it. I assure you, I've got them all turned off. I've gone through them, I've double checked. But for just pure enjoyment, this seems really nice. I'm just going to load it up on another track now, actually, one I'm more familiar with. Exit to monitor. Let's try a track that's it's a good track. Like, yeah, Lime Rock's good. There we go. I didn't know that. Done that a million times. So now I've got Rfactor2 running on a normal hard drive, so it takes a little bit of time to load the tracks. But once you've loaded them once, they load a bit faster. And if you put Rfactor2 on an SSD, then it loads a lot faster than this. I've got the graphics turned down as well, so it doesn't. Although a lot of people say Rfactor2 looks really bad, I don't actually mind how it looks. If you set the time right, and you pump the graphics up, and you've got a fast enough computer, because it is a bit of a hog in terms of the actual output and how much power it takes to get the output. But if you've got the computer and you get your settings right, Rfactor2 can actually look quite nice. But for my recording, my computer's not that fast, and for my recording, I've had to turn the graphics down because I would rather be driving with a really high frame rate, like 90, 100 FPS plus, whilst recording. So let's just get straight to race. Who needs to practice? It's alright. I can afford to replace the car if I drive into someone. Be interested to see how it drives on this track because it's got a lot of the tight corners and the uphill. Oh, okay. Severe lack of grip on T1. Whoops. At least the AI did it as well, so it didn't make me look too bad. Okay, it's very slippy. Oops, I did not put this version on. Yeah, a lot of the cars in Rfactor2, when going over the sharp hills and going around sharp corners, seem to be a bit, to me, seem a bit wonky in those low speed, high G-force, well they're not really high G-force, but low speed, fast transitional states. This car seems really nice and smooth. Worked its way through that nice and easy. It really does feel like a car that's out of game stock car, which is really nice. I'm lacking the force feedback to get the feel of the grip of the tyres for the braking and hitting the exact brake point. One of the things I really like in a Assetto Corsa with the force feedback is you really feel when you're going over the grip threshold of the tyre on braking, and you get really nice tyre scrub effects, or just the tyre bouncing effects with the force feedback, letting you know if you're on the limit of the brakes. This seems really easy to drive, this car. I mean, I'm nowhere near the pace with it. I need to learn its profile. But it's not throwing any surprises at me. He says driving off the road there. Right, let's restart this race. No excuses this time. The car seems to self-right itself though. It's just, it feels a bit unnatural. If the AI will go off the track. Yeah, they've gone off again. Try and keep with them. It's one of the things with Rfactor2 that's really great is the AI racing. If you whack them up and put their difficulty up to 100+%, you can get some really good AI racing, and it's a really good way to learn new tracks. It does depend on the track though. I find with the official ISI tracks, the AI is normally pretty good, but on some of the custom tracks where the AI paths haven't been set up perfectly, the AI can be a bit crazy. I'm clearly too slow. The car, it's nice how on the accelerator there through that corner, with a little bit of power, sort of pushes the car into the corner more, which is really nice. I can see this being the kind of car where when you put more time into it, it starts getting more and more enjoyable. And once you actually are at the limit of the car, and you're driving the track properly, and it's all about the subtle, getting the subtleties right of the track. I think it'll be a lot more enjoyable. To drive off road for no reason. I feel like I'm really off the pace. I'll give it a bit more weddy. What happens when you go from one simulator to another, you have to relearn them each time, and each one's different crazy interpretation of real world physics. The only thing with this that seems wrong is the force feedback's not communicating enough of what's going on at the lower speeds. At high speed it's really nice, but at lower speed it's just with my old school G25, I can't really feel what's going on, and on the braking I can't really tell if I'm on it or not, which you can obviously learn through through trial and error practice and seeing what it visually looks like when you're on the limit, but just through feel alone I can't really tell if I'm on the limit or not. Really nice stable car though. It honestly feels as if it's got assists on it. I did check through the menu multiple times. The only assist that's turned on is the auto clutch. So I think that'll do for this video. If you've got Rfactor2, make sure you download it. For me, first impressions, it seems like a really nice car and probably one of the more enjoyable cars in Rfactor2. Out of all the open top cars, obviously not put the time into it yet to give a fully informed opinion about it. But in terms of first impression, it seems like the best open top car, single seater that's in Rfactor2 at the moment. Nonetheless, definitely worth putting the time into it and discovering its more subtle nuances. So, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to subscribe and like. And of course, if you didn't, just shout abuse in the comments.